Now, a difficult subject to hear here this afternoon, and we're talking about abortion. And some of you may or may not know that as it stands, if you are pregnant with a disabled child, the pregnancy can actually be terminated right up until the point of birth. But a bill currently going through Parliament is seeking to change that. And if it's successful, the Abortion Disability Equality Bill will remove the section of the 1967 Abortion Act, which will prevent abortion on the grounds of disability up to birth. The cause is being championed by a campaign group called We're All Equal, and Dr Liz Corcoran is from the group and joins me now. Liz, are you there?
I am. Hi.
Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. And I wonder just how many people, Liz, realise that a baby can be aborted up until birth if it's disabled? Because, to be honest, until a few days ago, I myself had absolutely no idea about this.
And that's pretty common. I think it's fairly common that you speak to average person on the street, and actually even people who are affected themselves by disability, or they have a person in their family are unaware that this is the way the law stands. And that's why we're really backing Lord Shinkwin, as this is a disability discrimination issue, that it's the only part of the Abortion Act that talks about what the child is instead of the mother's health. And we wouldn't want this for race, for sex. That's the real reason we're championing this. Is a disability discrimination issue here.
I mean, it seems incredibly late in the day, I must admit.
Yeah, and it is. And the majority of problems with the baby are found before that time. But we just feel really even the fact that the child's sort of targeted in that way, the unborn baby targeted in that way, is discrimination, really.
I mean, does it happen often? Do you hear of women and, parents making this decision regularly?
Well, the majority of the time, if you're talking about generally about disability abortion, it is small numbers in the whole numbers of abortion. But for us, we feel that British law shouldn't state that it's okay to target a group of people in this manner for just solely because they have a disability. If you look at the Paralympics, we champion people with disability. And yet when someone's pregnant and with a much wanted baby, the message from the medical staff is that this isn't a baby that you want to have. And there's a lot of sort of unspoken pressure on parents that having a child with a disability isn't something that they want. And we just feel that the system's really been against unborn disabled people, and we feel it needs to change, and that parents need support, really, to continue these wanted pregnancies.
But Liz, surely there are safeguards in place to dissuade women about aborting so late into pregnancy, or not?
Unfortunately not.
Really?
If you take the example, so I'm a part of the Down Syndrome Research Foundation, so I have a lot of personal knowledge about people with Down syndrome and the experience their parents had during pregnancy. And often parents will say that that we have a high rate of termination after diagnosis for Down. It's around 90%. Now, the parents that decide to continue are often pressurized at every single antenatal appointment.
Really?
Are you sure? Are you sure? And even mums, I don't know if you saw Sally Phillips' documentary, there was a mum there that said, I had it written all over my notes, please don't ask me again. And again, the doctor said, well, are you sure? I saw that written, but I just thought I'd bring it up again. And after a while, you start to think, have I made the wrong decision here? And we really want to turn this on its head. We want to see the law change. And we want to see doctors and midwives educated that parents who this is a wanted pregnancy, we need to be supporting women in their decision to continue a pregnancy. We need to have things in place to support people before and after this diagnosis.
Well, I know that screening for Down syndrome has been in the media a great deal in the last month. The amniocentesis test, isn't it, called specifically to offer pregnant women a choice. But 90% of people, sorry, I have to go back to that number. Did you say 90% of people will end up aborting their children if they know that they've got Down syndrome? That's quite a large number of people.
It is, and we have a grave fear, and it is backed up. But yes, anecdotally, but this is how information turns into research and history. Is right information each parent delivers to us about their experience across the country is that there is often a lot of old information told to them, a lot of fear perpetuated in the antenatal screening process, biased against people with Down syndrome and the lives that they have. They have we have a great amount of data about quality of life and the quality of life of families as well, that is positive information that just isn't being delivered to parents. Because to us, yes, each individual person makes a decision, but as a whole, when we look at those numbers, you can't help but wonder that the information that's being delivered is biased in favor of fear, and in a way away from a situation where parents can be supported to continue with the wanted pregnancy.
I mean, Liz, can you understand ever why parents may want to do this, or is it just completely and totally wrong in your eyes?
Well, I mean, we start to get into like my personal views, and I will say with the brother who's in the next room who has Down syndrome, I can say I probably would never be able to be totally unbiased. I can see that people would become afraid because it's the unknown, and if you imagine as time has progressed, you and I maybe didn't have anyone in our lives that we would have met that had Down syndrome. So then when you're told you're pregnant with a child Down syndrome, then you don't have that touchstone of experience through your life. So what we're seeing is really, I think, a society as a whole is losing diversity because we're losing people with Down syndrome who are in it. So I feel that we really need to sort of turn things on its head. The law needs to be changed so that we're not saying, as a society, we think it's correct to target and remove a group of people purely because they're different from us. And I would hope that if people knew people with Down syndrome in their lives, that they had real lived experience, they would be less afraid. And that's what my friends, my own personal experiences, that they've said, I did do the screening, I wanted to know, but because I've met David, that's my brother, I wouldn't end the pregnancy. And really, what's more positive experience than to hear that, to actually meet someone and being able to report it changed your point of view on that.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Liz. That was Dr. Liz.
Okay.
Thank you. That was Dr. Liz Corcoran from the campaign group We're All Equal. And to find out more about that group, you can visit allequal.org.uk.